Just for, everybody that may not know who you are, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the community, bro?
My name's Jamal Rogers. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised, real estate investor, serial entrepreneur. Been doing real estate investing, I believe, by like the last 4 years. Now, after that, expanding into Turo, Airbnbs. Now I do business consulting where I help people get their credit together. Also help people get their business, structure their business the right way, and offer help with funding and things like that. So been doing that the last few years and helping people chase their dreams.
Hey, the right way indeed, bro. The right way indeed, man. So why don't you tell the audience, like, how did you end up getting started in the real estate wholesaling space? What brought you to wholesaling?
Well, it's an interesting story. So, like, at the beginning when I first got into real estate, I didn't know nothing about real estate, never heard of real estate wholesaling, and I was watching Breakfast Club, and I seen a guy on there named by the name of Mark Whitten, and he was talking about real estate wholesaling. So at this time, I would watch the Breakfast Club every morning, and I never seen anybody in there as an entertainer. I mean, nothing but entertainers. Never seen nobody as a business, so it stuck out to me. And then the way how he explained real estate wholesaling, it really stuck with me. So I'm like, man, this is something I want to do because you always hear about something like not spending your money, making money. So I'm like, man, let me see if it's real. So I
Right.
got into it. I joined this. He had something going on. And I joined it, but I wasn't really getting what I needed to get out. That's not nothing towards him or nothing like that. But I just didn't really feel what I was getting. I was working with another guy in my city of Cleveland, Ohio. We wasn't really getting anything accomplished, and I'm like, well, let me start diving into more about real estate wholesaling. And then I started getting on Facebook and I was joining all these Facebook groups about real estate wholesaling. I just, nobody didn't give me the direction. I just started typing in all these different groups about wholesaling and connecting with different people. And then I came across this guy named Ed Hayes.
Hey.
And he was in, and he was always talking about, because I think I can remember it was a group what it was, but you was always answering everybody questions. So I'm like, man, this guy know what he's talking about. And then I think somebody asked you, was you starting a mentorship or something like that? And you was like, yeah. So I reached out to you and you told me what it was, what your mentorship was. It was affordable. And I'm like, all right, man. I felt like at this time, if it's something that I want to do seriously, that I know that I want to do seriously, I got to invest in myself. So I took the
Mhm.
money to go ahead and invest in myself. And I'm like, you know what? This is what I want to do. And then it was a lot of different hurdles in between time, but I can say that, man, you changed my life and I appreciate you.
Oh man, hey, that means a lot to me, bro. I really, really mean that, man, for real. So you say like you got out here, like a lot of people when I was just starting to put myself out there as a coach, damn near everybody I was talking to told me like, yeah, I just found out about wholesaling because of Mark Whitten. Like everybody was saying that. So that's pretty crazy, man. Shout out to Mark Whitten for, putting so many people onto the concept of wholesaling in the first place with that Breakfast Club interview. I made a whole video about that. It's like one of my most popular videos on the YouTube channel or whatever. That was a game changer. But yeah, man. So like you said that like so you were trying to get some stuff from like out of the coaching program or whatever, but then you end up coming across me basically. I know you had a lot of stuff going on at the beginning of us working together, bro. Maybe you can speak to that. Like what were some of the like early adversities that you faced like
Well,
coming to the real estate wholesaling space?
man, at the beginning, I could say it was I come from a background where a lot of people knew me in my city from selling shoes. I used to sell shoes to like a lot of entertainers and athletes in the city. Um, and a lot of people knew me from that. And there was a period of time where I had stopped doing that, and I just started doing drive and live. I felt like I wasn't in that space no more. I didn't want to do that no more. And then my license I got suspended. And then when my
Mm,
license got suspended, it was like I couldn't do live. Everything I felt like everything was stopping me from doing what I needed to do. So I'm like, you know what? I knew how my life was before, um, before, and I felt like I wanted to get back to where I was. So I felt like I was steady chasing something, and I knew I wanted to change. Like I said, I never heard of real estate, anything like that. And when I got into the real estate wholesaling, I never forget that I was dating a girl, and they were saying like, at the beginning, like reach out to your landlords and all these different things, like reach out to your landlord and to see if they want to buy some properties. And I never forget, it was two things. One time when I was driving lift, a guy was like, "Ain't you?" A lot of people call me Sneaks, and the guy was like, "Sneak, ain't you Sneaks? Like, what you doing driving lift?" And it really messed me up. Like,
Mm,
dang, like, dang, what am I doing driving lift? And then
right.
fast forward, my license gets suspended, and then I hit my landlord up asking him, do he got some properties? Do he want to sell some properties or buy some properties? He like, man, you never gonna make no money from that. He's like, I don't even know why you're doing that. You might as well get a regular job. So I'm like, dang. And at that time, I go tell my lady, I call her on the phone. I'm in the car upset. I'm like, dang, my landlord just said that. She's like, well, you know what? Maybe he right. I'm like, you know what? I'm like,
Whoa.
yeah, so it was like it kind of like what messed me up. I'm like, dang, you know what? You ain't the one for me. But then,
Mm,
fast forward later on, like, that had to been probably like in yeah, fast forward like a couple months later, then my mom ended up passing away. And
mm,
once my mom passed, it made me look at everything differently, And at that time when she passed in that February of 2019, that January, I was already in the steps of trying to build my business because they say like get an LLC and all these different things. And
right.
I was in the headspace, and I never forget I called you because I think we were supposed to be doing some stuff, and like you was going over stuff with me weekly. And it was like, man, I got out the relationship with my girl previously, but I also say at that time when me and my girl broke up, I felt like that was the best thing ever. Not like that. I
Mm,
know a lot of people will say that, but that relationship led me to God and started having me going to church and get me real focused on what I need to get focused on. I believe that that relationship led me to prepare for my mom's death, for me to
mm,
be able to take the next steps into my life. And I feel like I had to have that heartbreak to be able to come to God and have God come in my life. And then everything changed from me. Like it went to a period where I was so used in business, people come to me from being in the streets and doing all these other things.
right.
Like I started serving at the church, doing parking, talking to people, greeting people. And I just started
Mm,
noticing like my patience. Like I would just like God was just working on me. And I was pouring into God like heavy where like I needed him. I wanted to search him. And I wasn't thinking about the money. I wasn't thinking about the girls. I was celibate. I was doing all these different
mm.
things, and I just was so focused on God and getting my life together. And once I changed my life over, I started getting more focused in the wholesaling, and everything turned around.
Damn, that's so deep, bro. So it's like basically at the beginning of your wholesaling journey, and I was there with you, bro. So it's kind
Yeah.
of, it's like it's very interesting to me because I remember having these phone calls, like, man, like it's like you just split with your girlfriend. Your mom ended up unfortunately passing away a short time after that, and then it was just so much adversity, so much like stress, like honestly, bro, I commend you for keeping going after all of that stuff because most people probably would have gave up, to be honest with you. They would have like, look, this is too much, I'll come back to this. But you just kept going. Like you just kept going, like you kept doing thing after thing after thing. But I do remember that important shift where you started going to the church more, you started
Yeah.
getting like more religious, more spiritual, and things like that. And like your entire life changed like so crazy, bro. Like I can actually speak to that myself because I literally watched that transition happen. It was absolutely amazing, bro. Like despite you going through so much adversity that would have caused so many other people to fail. but
Yeah, I
but
believe that the adversity make you. My bad for cutting you off.
no,
Like the
no, go ahead.
adversity, it made me stronger. It made me like I know you hear that a lot, but that's real. Like I think like sometimes with us, we don't pay attention to things have to hit us. And like it had to hit me. Like I hate to be that type of person, and I always been like I work harder when my back is against the wall.
Hmm.
And my mom used to always say before she passed, like I'm never worried about you. You like a cat, you land on your feet. So she's like, you always gonna figure it out. And I always kept that with me, no matter what I got going on. Like it may not be the biggest house, the nicest car, but God provided a roof over my head. He provided somewhere for me to drive. It wasn't the right situation for
Hmm.
me. Well, I ain't gonna say right situation. It may have been what I wanted, but God still provided and made sure that I needed what I had. And I always look at it like this, like I just pay attention to that, and I move forward with that. So it's like like God blessed me to be here. I didn't have to be here. So I just needed to
Mhm.
I needed to appreciate him, appreciate me being here and pour it to him. And at that time, like my father, when I was going through all this stuff, my father had told me to read Proverbs chapter 3 for 30 days. And he said, I guarantee you to change your life. And I feel like a lot of people may feel like, when God changed your life, it's going to be money and all these, luxury stuff. But one of the main things I pray for God to change my mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, the money will come as it come, but I didn't want to be so focused on the money and everything else around me. I wanted my mind to be free and clear, and I needed to forgive some people. I needed to let go some things, and once I was able to let go all the things that was on me, I was able to receive all the blessings that God had for me, and that's real.
Hey, nah. Dang, man, that's tough, bro. For real. Like, man, that's real deep, bro. So, like what I want you to do is to like kind of tell the audience then, despite all of the adversity, despite all of the stuff that kind of happened at the beginning of your wholesaling journey, like talk to like what does your business look like now? Like in terms of the staff, stuff like that, or whatever. Like what does it actually look like now?
Okay, right now as a business, I'm still doing wholesaling. Honestly, like everybody that's on here, I'm assuming that everybody who do wholesaling. The last 2 years, I've been honestly been doing JVs. I know a lot of people talk about they don't do JVs, but in the beginning of my wholesale journey, since deals like even like with all the adversity, with all the personal stuff, I still went through adversity in the wholesale business. So yes, God changed my life, but I still was struggling with wholesale. I mean, like I couldn't get no deals, I
Mm,
couldn't get nothing under contract. So since I couldn't get nothing under contract, I just like, you know what? It didn't dawn on me that I needed to find buyers, but buyers, it just happened that I ended up finding buyers. So I just
mhm,
looked at like, all right, well, since I wasn't getting no deals, let me connect with other wholesalers. Let me connect with other buyers. Let me see what they want. Because I wasn't able to get anything under contract. It had a lot to do with me not being comfortable with me talking to people too. Because I remember you used to always say like, you got to be probably talking to like at least 100 people a day. At that time,
mhm,
like I ain't really trying to talk to nobody like that. So like that held me back from my business too. And there was a period of
mhm,
time I was working with somebody in the city in Cleveland, being more hands on. And I never forget, like we would go to church, we'd spend some good time with each other. He like, Ma, we good friends, but I don't want to do no business with you. And that kind of
mm,
messed me up. I'm thinking like, that we friends. What you mean you don't want to do no business with me? He like, you ain't focused, you ain't serious. So I needed that too, because it was like, all right, I need to get focused. I paid a mentor that I'm talking to, and I'm not
mhm,
really like doing what I need to do. All the information, all the stuff that he pouring into me, like I can't make no excuses. Yeah, my mom passed. Yeah, my mom gone. Yeah, my girl gone. All these different things. I,
mhm.
I had to get busy. And once I started getting busy, I was able to build a buyers list. And then my one friend from church, he was like, "You do wholesaling?" Like, yeah. And he's like, "I'm gonna send you some properties." He sent me a couple properties, got rid of them like that.
Mm,
And we started building a relationship like that. And I was able to start getting some properties going. And everything just started flowing, and I just started basically like focused. Like the first few years I was doing all my deals like back and forth. Like I would get some of my properties under my contract for myself, then I was
mm,
still JB. Like I never left doing JB because I was always able to build buyers lists up. And now right
mm.
now, like I just had a closing today, and one of my friends, he sent it over to me, and we was able to close the deal. So people now, they come to me for me to close their deals, so
Nice.
I could get it done. That just real talk.
Okay.
So like,
So basically JV is kind of like your main marketing strategy.
yes, sir.
Okay. So excuse me. So the topic of this particular podcast is building relationships, right? So
Yeah.
what would you say, bro, is like the most important relationships that a wholesaler should be trying to go out there and establish if they're trying to get started out here?
I believe the best thing is to be yourself and not try to be something that you're not. In this business, what I learned, yes, you are a real estate investor. I don't lie to nobody. I keep it honest. Like I let them know, like either I'm in a position I will buy your property, but I do work with other investors to buy properties. Um, I learned a lot of things in this business that a lot of people do just to get something under a contract. Like a lot of people, they would just get a deal, but the deal may be a bad deal just to have something that they can say they have on the contract. So my thing is, I would tell somebody is to be yourself and network with other people. Get out the box. Do something that's unordinary. Run towards what you're scared of. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
me, I hate networking. I hate going to things like that, but I will go to them in a minute because I know I need to introduce myself. I know I need to let people know who I am. Like I'm not a suit and tie person, so what you see what I got on is what is me. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just
Mhm.
this is who I am. So I don't want nobody to judge me. But at the end of the day, I can sit and talk to the best of them and be like, look, my name is Jamal Rogers. I'm a real estate investor in Cleveland, Ohio. I come across properties, I buy properties, I sell properties. Like I let myself be known where I was at, and I was everything that was going on, I was available and I was there. And I made sure that my presence was there, and I made sure that I was able to connect with different people. Like, and I think people gravitated towards me and they felt like they always wanted to do business with me. And then I always connected with good wholesalers in the city. Like you have some bad
Mhm.
ones, but the people that I connected with, they had relationships. So by me being able to close with their deals, they trusted me. So by them trusting me, they was able to send me more deals. So
Right.
and the thing is, I never wanted to get into no daisy chain. I see somebody ask what a JV, a joint venture, which is when you joint venture. So like me and Ed, I have a property, he have a buyer for it. We break it down. We joint venture on that deal. Now you could pick to choose if you want to do 50% on my JV deals. If I'm doing it with one, I don't try to do it more than two people or really one person, but we break everything down. Some people may I had deals where, person wanted a certain percentage, but we do everything 50-50, or if it's three ways, whatever it is, three ways. We
Mhm.
do it just like that, but joint venture. So um, I just got, like I said, I'm not gonna say because I got so focused on that, and that had helped my business because I end
Mhm.
up doing other things once I start getting into the wholesaling and I start making some money in wholesaling. I focus on my credit, and then once my
Mhm.
credit start getting better, I start to realize, you know what? I'm spending all this money using my wholesaler money. Yeah, I'm getting good money, but I need to start focusing on my credit. Like, because at the end of the day, like you can have all this money, but if your credit ain't good, it ain't nothing. So I
Mhm.
start working on my credit, and once I start working on my credit, I was able to see the advantage that I could do, like as far as like traveling, renting cars, even buying properties off your now on the business card, but at the time, like I was leveraging a lot of my credit. Then once I started to be able to do that, I felt like I had a blueprint that I could do, and I ended up dropping a credit repair ebook for people to do it themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because it was the tools I did. Like I'm a person that yes, all those adversities happened to me. I had two bankruptcies on my credit report. It
Mm.
was a period of time like when I was driving Lyft when at the time when I was driving Lyft, I didn't have a checking account. So I tell people I used to have my best friend um take my I used to have my best friend when my money get deposited, had to go deposit into her checking account because I couldn't get a checking account. Like that's how
Damn.
bad my credit score was. I was in the 400. So like I'm one of those type of people. I'm telling you everything that I went through, that I was going through, so for people to know, like, yes, I can do this too. Like, yes, I had two bankruptcies, credit 400s, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff. And once I was able to figure that out, I got into that space and started focusing on helping people get their credit together. And then I started focusing on leveraging. Once I was able to learn the leverage game to not to be able to spend my own money, I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
well, I'm not about to spend my money. So whatever I want, if it's the car that I want, I start doing tour rolls. So I start getting multiple cars, but I could drive the car that I wanted. I wanted to live in a nice place. So I started doing Airbnbs, but I could have that pay for my
Mm.
Airbnbs. And then once I start all the wholesaling money that I was getting, I just felt that let me save this. So now that if I want to buy a property, fix and flip or put down, I focus on building business credit up, which is separate than personal credit. Now I could go ahead and put a down payment on my business credit card or my Amex or something, and I
Mm.
had to use my own credit. I mean, I had to use my own money. So
Hey man.
like right now in the process, me and my guy, we just put a bid on the property now using the credit card. So like I just focus on all these different things, man. And I was always one of those people that's eager, like like I'd be thirsty for like success or something like that. And I got into other like I got into another, like I got into credit mentorships, business mentorships, and I feel like you had to invest in yourself. Like I'm probably didn't spent up to probably $20,000 in mentorships, and that's
Mm,
probably listen to my other investors. I mean, other mentors, they spend more than that. But I feel like you got to pay to play. I know that may sound crazy, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to get things to the next level, yes, you could get a lot of free tools and things like that. But I wanted to be hands on with somebody and for somebody to be able to help me teach me to get to the next level. And so I invest into these mentorships, and these mentorships, I instantly made my money back right away. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? It showed me how to do other things, other strategies. Now, with that happening last year, me and my guys, we got together. We did events in the city called Everybody Eats, where we talked about financial literacy. We did two of them in the city last year, where we did financial literacy for free. Didn't charge nobody nothing. We had food, we had all vendors, did all this for the city for free. And I believe nobody ever did nothing like that. And like I was the real estate person, had somebody talking about credit, had somebody talking about business, Airbnb, Soros, showing the community that there's other businesses out here, other things that you could do to be able to get income coming in, passive income coming in. So we was able to do that. And now, right
mm.
now, moving forward, like I started my own thing called It's Your Time. So I just feel like we at a point where we could have our own kings and queens in our own community.
Mm. So it sounds like man, you got a lot of stuff going on, man. Like obviously, wholesaling has translated into significantly more to you than just doing wholesaling and real estate or whatever. You've been able to kind of push out that influence and like start up other businesses and things like that, leveraging your
Yeah.
wholesaling income.